Hi folks, welcome to MTS. Today we're going to do a proof of concept. Basically, I want to be able to run the outer loop of my layout with the DCS Remote Commander or in conventional mode. I have acquired several Proto 3 locomotives and would like to have the flexibility in power and control. Basically what I have is I've got a Lionel power adapter. It's just an 18 volt power adapter. I believe it'd come out of another one of their latest sets. So I'm going to use that for my power input to the DCS module. So when DCS is on, it'll power up my control module and allow me the flexibility to be able to use the remote. However, if I want to run just in conventional mode, I can, but I know that the power can't be on to this. If I'm running, let's say I'm running a Proto 3 with in conventional mode, I want to be able to use that, right? If there's power on the module, then it's going to detect the signal. It's not going to run in conventional mode. So that's kind of the idea. Lionel lock-on hooked into the two center poles on this three-way switch. So first, we're just going to test a simple conventional power, right? As I understand it, when the switch is turned the opposite direction of the pole, that will give me my power that goes to the track. So, example, we're going to use this one here, and we're just going to put a gator clip there, and then we're going to put the negative gator clip on the other side. And we're going to put it in the neutral position. I'm going to give some power from my test transformer. And we're just going to test using the voltage meter. Okay. So right now there should be no voltage coming through here at all. Okay. Now if I switch this over to the opposite, which as you can see, got my power transformer power hooked here, got the switch in the opposite direction. Okay, so there we go. I've got voltage when the switch is in the on position. Again, the on position, right? So it shows on. So when it's in the on position here, I have voltage to my track. When it's in that position, I do not. And the idea is that when I hook up the power to the other, we'll just make sure this is working like it's supposed to. Okay. Okay, so this would be the output. So these two wires are going to go to these poles, and that'll activate. This is going to the track, right? So instead of going direct to the track, I'm going to go to the switch. That's going to go to the track, right? I'm also going to cut my plug right about here, and I'll show you what I'm going to do as far as mounting this if this all works out. I've got a really cool setup. I think it's going to be pretty neat. But I'm going to basically cut this wire and then splice it, and then one of these will stay constant, right? I've also got a schematic that I'm going to share probably right about here. I'll drop that in. You'll see what I'm talking about. The schematic's got all of it broken down as far as my positive, negative. You can hit pause by all means and take a look and see if this application will work for your setup. Okay, I'm going to turn off the power to that for right now. Basically, I know the way that I'm going to run this application. The switch is going to be pretty much right next to where the module's going to be. So I don't need a lot of extra slack there. it's going to be right up underneath there. So here we go. I'm just going to split these right down the middle. Again, I'm just going to use the positive here, which I believe is going to be the one with the writing on it. Okay, so I'm going to use a different wire color. I'm going to use this brown wire just to help keep my thoughts in order. Tighten that down. A little bit more slack here. There we go. Okay. Both of those are in place. And where's my plug? We do have power, so I just need to, I'm going to put a separate toggle switch on the power to this as well. Okay, so we're going to have two toggle switches. Unplug. So basically what's going to happen is on the casing that I'm going to use to mount these switches, you would first have to switch this to the DCS, and then we're going to have another toggle switch that'll activate power to the DCS module. Let me find another toggle switch. I'll be right back. Okay, found a mini toggle switch. Let's see this. It's got a couple different colors, so I get a few options, whatever color I want this to be. Probably go with red, but for right now, again, just wanting to see if this works. Let's see here. I'm just going to try to run this through here. Yeah, well, if this works, that's going to be our play, right? We're just going to make this. So it's in the off position right now. Go ahead and plug it in. Let's just test that, make sure that it's in the off position. We're going to plug in the AC adapter. Okay, the AC adapter's in. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I've got my power. It's plugged in. Which one's positive? That's positive. We said positive poles on the top, so we're going to put that in place. Okay. I've got this already in the position. Okay, to activate this. So let's go with that. We're going to first turn on the power. Power's on. That's already activated. Oh, I've got juice. Look at there. Wow, why is it 38.6? Oh, it's DC voltage? Maybe? I'm not sure. I think this goes back to, guys, to where I can't test this without an actual locomotive on there, because this has to have the signal from the locomotive. But in the meantime, let's just test our theory, right? So that should turn it off. It does. I've got a little bit of a little trickle. Let's go ahead and turn that up. There we go. There's conventional mode. and there is DCS. All right. Let me grab a small locomotive. I think I got a switcher out here. I'm going to put that on here and see what we have. All right, I'll be right back. Let's test this out. So I've got good old Atlantic Coastline diesel switcher. It does have the PS3 freight. I'm going to just set that on the test track, and we're going to turn on the power to the DCS. We're going to turn on the power here. There's my horn. Let me go. So we're going to turn off the power.
Can I have another
Kind of cut him off mid-cycle there, but that's okay. So the power's off now on the DCS module. We're going to switch this over to conventional. And then I'm going to give it some juice. And go on. Okay. Again, I'm going to turn that back off. Okay, I think this proves my concept. I can work through the issue with the bell. I'm also hooked into a Lionel CW80 for my conventional locomotive, whereas on my layout I have a MTH Z4000. So I think I can make that work. But yeah, I think this is a sound concept, folks. So I'm going to show how I'm going to basically just mount this into place on my layout, and I think we have a working idea. We'll bring you right back. This is just a piece of black plexiglass. These are called risers. I was able to find this. It was actually a set of 3 for I think like $10. I'll have a picture of that as well, insert right about now. But I thought this was going to be perfect. The width is perfect for my Z4000, and it will fit right on the back side. I'm going to just, I've got a piece of double stick tape. We're just going to mount that right there. How about that, huh? I think that'd be pretty neat. Okay, folks, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to have 3 different holes. So I'm going to have a large hole drilled here. I'm going to use the 3/32 size. I figure I can always go smaller. If I have to go a little bigger, I can. But I don't want to go backwards. I don't want to make the hole too big, right? So I'm going to start with that. That'll be mounted up here for the large switch. Okay. And then I'm going to have another hole here. I've got some flexibility. I want this wire just to go underneath there. I did figure something else out. I'm going to have to cut the ground wire on here as well, just so I can feed both wires through here. I don't want to make the hole that big to try to make that work, right? So a smaller hole right here, and then I'll have a small hole, which I'll let you know what size this is here in a minute. I haven't measured this one out yet. And that's going to go right about there. We'll have a switch, and then we'll have a hole for the cord that plugs into the DCS. Double coated tape, right? So I'm just going to stick part right there, and then just stick it down here. Now I want to kind of make sure that's in place, because that stuff, once it's set, it's pretty much set. You're not taking it off without some major cosmetic issues, right? So So the idea is that I've got all this in place. I've got a plan. Again, small hole for the switch, large hole for the larger switch. With that, we'll go ahead and get this started. We're going to go ahead and undo this. Where did I say I wanted it? I'm going to go right about there. It gives me a little bit of excess on this end. Don't want it exactly centered because it is on the back side. It's going to be mounted or kind of setting over top of the back side of the Z4000. But at the same time, I want to make sure I've got enough cord to enough flexibility to where I'm not drilling a hole right here on the edge, right? So I think I can go right about there and right about there. We're going to let these two posts overhang. Let's see, right about there. Look good to you guys? I hope so, because it's in place now. Let's figure out what size drill bit we will need for this micro switch. This is a 7/32. I'm going to use this one, and I think I'm actually going to use this one for the wires here as well. I think I can get both of those in there. May have to feed them one at a time, but I think that's going to work well. All right, let me get these holes drilled out. Okay, I'm going to mark where I want this hole. I think I want it right about there. Both sides here. I don't want that to be buttoned up against the side of that. Okay, so I'm just going to, we'll put that in line with this one. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. I'm just going to kind of take it slow. These go a little bigger. Again, I'd much rather have to go up in size than down in size. Tell you what, I'm going to go with a 1/4 inch. That's only going one more above what it is. I think that's the right size. So this should actually be fairly simple. Here we go. There we go. Perfect. The back of the unit. All right, last one. I'm going to go right about there. Too much. All right, when in doubt, vice grips. I just want to be careful not to break the rest of it, right? So, okay. So I'm just going to kind of hold this like that. We're going to go back to it and see if I can't drill the rest of this hole out. I promise this is going to look amazing when it's done. All right. Just kind of keeping my wires hooked onto that for right now, just to make sure we're in good shape. Bring that up just a smidge. There we go. Okay. At least it didn't split all the way down the side. You can see where it split. It just went right about there. So, okay, we have the solder iron heating up right now, so we can solder our little micro switch. In the meantime, I am going to go ahead and cut this other wire. There we go. Now we can feed them both through there. And that should plug right into that. There we go. Perfect. So one thing about it, I probably should have left enough slack where I could just solder that without an issue, but the way everything else has gone tonight, it's okay. Alright, we'll resolder this connection. Work. Here we go. Okay. Perfect. Again, a little flux. Zoom me in here. See okay? There we go. For the other ones, I'm just going to use those C connectors where I can just crimp them just to make it a little easier. It'll still look nice. Again, it's going to be underneath anyway. It'll be out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect my soldering iron. So it's in the off position right now. I've got one of those label makers where I can have CONV on one side and DCS on the other. Let me get this finished up and we'll take this over to the layout. Okay, here we go. Perfect. Okay, so that looks good. The only thing I've got a complaint with is I wish it wasn't as glossy. I'm looking for more of a matte finish, kind of like the Z4000, but at the same time it does do a really good job of concealing the wires and gives it a nice finished look that I'm very pleased with. So let's go ahead and test this out. We'll switch it over to conventional mode and give the Atlantic Coastline switcher a go here. Okay, start it up. Okay, we'll switch it to DCS. We'll turn on the power. There it goes.
Looks like we've got a Form D on the way.
There you have it. Nice application that will work well for my layout. Even cleaned up good with a small microfiber towel. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you down the line.